You know how fast people making $1 million these days? And it's like that first 100,000, that's the hardest. That first million, that's the hardest. You can meet a new person that's going to put you on, that's going to connect you with the right people. And a couple months from now, you will be in a position that you've never been in before, making more money than you ever had before. It only takes one person, one conversation, one connection, one opportunity, one video. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Mindful Vibes 365 podcast, where we have productive and stimulating conversations about how to be more mindful in all the areas of your life. I'm your host, Malaysia, and as a 25-year-old that's out here trying to be intentional, building something meaningful, and just focusing on growing every single day, I have come to realize that there is so much advice that I have been given, or advice that I've heard from someone older than me, or someone that claims that they've been there, done that before, okay, whatever. I have gotten so much advice that's honestly just trash, okay? So much advice that's trash, so much advice that is just not useful to where I am trying to go in my life. And I know if you're watching this right now and you're in your 20s, whether it's your early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, maybe even your 30s, right? You've probably heard some of the things that I'm getting ready to talk about, and I'm just here to debunk these myths, okay? These misconceptions, this trash advice, this advice that's going to send you in a direction that you don't want to go. Like, sometimes we have to admit that just because people are older than us and they've lived through the years that we're currently living in now, that does not mean that their advice is the right advice. Sometimes it's just plain wrong. It's plain wrong. It's plain stupid. All of that. Sometimes the advice that we get is outdated. Sometimes it's simply just a projection, which is a really big one. A lot of people project when they give advice. They're not just giving advice to truly help you out, but they're giving advice from a standpoint of it being a projection of what they haven't been able to do in their own life, or what they wish they could be able to do, right? And like I said, sometimes the advice that we're given by people older than us when we're in our early 20s and 30s, it's simply just flat out wrong. So today I'm going to be debunking 4 of those common myths that we always hear people talk about. Because like I said, if you take them at face value, you could waste a lot of your years floating, overspending, chasing the wrong things, getting yourself caught up in situations that you don't need to be caught up in. Like, let's really talk about what's real, what's trash, and what actually works if you are trying to set yourself up for a great future, right? If you want to be average, you don't have no desire to be great, to achieve different things that nobody in your family or anybody around you has ever achieved before, this is not for you, okay? You can keep listening to the trash advice that you've been getting, that you've gotten before. But if that's not you, and you are trying to really elevate in your life, elevate your family, elevate your bloodline, right? We're gonna need to, debunk some of these. All right, so let's get into it. Myth number 1. Now, it's actually 2 parts to this. So I guess you could say there's like 5 of them that I'm going to cover. But the first one is you have plenty of time. Okay. You have plenty of time. I know you guys have heard this before. People have told you that you have plenty of time, right? When you are maybe in college and you're focused on studying and you're maybe not partying as much, or, you know, you're just deep into something and the people around you are not necessarily on the same wave, or, you know, you have adults around you that are like, oh, baby, you got plenty of time to do that. Okay. You have plenty of time to find a partner. You have plenty of time to be in a relationship. You have plenty of time to go and do this and do that, right? The flip side of that, or another extension of that, is you only live once. We have all heard this. YOLO. Oh, you only live once, right? So if it's something that you want to do, go do it. Okay. Yeah, you're right to a certain extent. However, most of the time when we hear these things, those 2 things in particular, a lot of it is coming from a place supporting bad decisions. You hardly ever hear a lot of people telling you to do that in positive situations. And when people say this, it just gives such a negative connotation. Like, yes, your 20s are a season for learning, exploring, and making some mistakes, right? But the way people say this makes it sound like do nothing, just drift. Don't worry so much about the future. Don't worry so much about, you know, what's going to happen next year. Don't worry so so much about how this situation is going to turn out. And you guys, I am not disputing that, and I'm not saying that you should be a person that's necessarily worried and obsessing over every detail, but that's a dangerous way of thinking. Like, if you're in your 20s right now thinking like you only live once, YOLO, F it, I'ma just do whatever, right? And I got time to do that. I got time to fix my credit. I got time to go into a new career field later on 10 years from now if I want to do that. I got time to figure out what I want to do with my life while I'm sitting here actively doing nothing. I have time. Actually, you don't have the time that you think you have, number one, especially if you're coming off like that. You're just assuming that. None of us know how much time we have on this earth. So to be coming off like that when you have every day to be 1% better than yesterday is honestly very selfish, because what do you mean? You can be making changes and taking steps in a different direction or the right direction every single day. Like, that's so dangerous when people tell you like, oh, you only live once. What are you doing? What are you stressing about? What are you worried about? Right? You got plenty of time for that. Don't listen to that BS, because that's all it is BS. And like I said, it's a dangerous way of thinking. And in your 20s and in your early 30s, but definitely in your 20s, you are laying the groundwork for your 30s and beyond. So how you treat your 20s is going to set you up for how you're going to be living in your 30s. That's not to say that you can't get into your 30s and life doesn't necessarily like change for you or elevates even more. But don't you think that if you don't do all that you can possibly do right within your control in your 20s, that once you get into your 30s, it's going to be a lot harder? Because think about it. When you get into your 30s, that's when more people start having families, having multiple children, and you have a partner to think about, and all of these different things that are going to affect how you can really move around and maneuver is not the same. When you're in your 20s, when you're solo dolo, maybe you don't have any children. Okay, if you do, still, if you don't have any children, you don't have a partner that you have to answer to, you can move a lot different. So this is exactly why it's so important to not adopt that mindset and believe this crazy myth, because it doesn't make sense. Decisions about your career, your health, your relationships, the wrong decisions in those areas can create ripple effects. And you probably hear that a lot. And you've probably heard that a lot. And a lot of times, like I said, this particular thing comes from a lot of people who are older than you. Now, I am a big believer that you should not take advice from people that do not live the life that you want to live, have not lived the life that you want to live, and that don't probably have no chance of living the life that you want to live. So if you're talking to somebody and they're telling you like, no, go out, have fun, do this, do that, da, da, da. Okay. If you are a person that wants to be wealthy, you want to be very financially well off and very comfortable sitting on a nice stack of cash and having a good career and having assets and investments, right? Would it really make sense to take that type of advice from a person that don't have none of that? Probably not. So it just doesn't make sense to even listen to that stuff. Like, it's all chatter. I don't want to hear what you have to say. What can you teach me? What can you help me with? You're not even doing and moving how I want to move. So why would I listen to you? You telling me, oh, you only live once, right? Okay. Well, I want to make the most out of my life. And I know that right now in my 20s, the more serious I am and the more pressure and the more I have my foot on the gas, I will be able to reach the points that I want to reach a lot quicker, which means I'll be able to enjoy life on a more grand and bigger scale a lot faster if I stop effing around. All right. So myth number one, all that you got plenty of time and you can just float through life and just let things flow and you only live once. Don't believe that. Okay. Now, to reflect on this and to really think about what you can do, I do want you to have fun. As a person that's very focused, I also have fun. I travel. I go to different countries. I like to vacation quite often. I go out with my friends sometimes. I go here, I go there, not too much though, only in moderation, but I do want you to have fun. You can go on dates. That don't mean you should be going on a date every single day of the week, because if you are, you're taking up a lot of time that you could be doing productive stuff with. Okay? So boom, you need to have fun and you need to have structure. You can go to brunch, you can travel, you can enjoy life, but you need to also be having certain financial goals, certain career goals, certain personal goals. If you ain't hitting those markers, then that means you need to chill out. That means you need to lock in and really get yourself together, because Yeah. And ask yourself, like, as you're going through life right now, if you're in your 20s and your early 30s, because like I said, some people, you know what I'm saying, might be in your early 30s if you're watching this. That's cool, because you still got time, okay? You still got some time if you're in your early 30s. You may not have heard this advice. But ask yourself, what habits am I building now that my 35-year-old self will thank me for? Or if you're 20, you should always be thinking about your life in like 5 to 10 year spurts in the future. So if you're 20, you should be thinking, is what I'm doing right now in my 20s, what type of effect is that going to have on me in my 30s? How is my life going to look at 30 based on what I'm doing today in my 20s? If I'm 25, which I'm 25 right now, at 30, 5 years from now, what is my life going to look like at 30 based on everything that I'm doing today? And in between 25 and 30, what is my life going to look like at 30? If my life looks how it looks at 25, at 30, I didn't do something right. Especially if I'm out here saying like, oh, I want to be successful. I want to have this business. I want to be making this type of money, right? Yeah. Okay. So you have to make it make sense. And lastly, don't confuse flexibility with aimlessness. You can be flexible. You can do different things. You can, dibble and dabble in different stuff and enjoy yourself, but you still have a clear direction of targets that you want to hit. You still have clear financial targets. You still have clear targets in terms of what you want out of relationships and love and, as far as marriage and a partner. You still have clear targets about what you want for your health. Don't just lose your mind and don't have any type of targets just because you're being flexible and you're still enjoying yourself. Two things can be true at one time. I don't know why people be acting like, oh, it's so hard to party and work hard. You just got to work a little bit more hard than you party. A lot more actually, but you can still have fun. Okay. You can still have fun. So that is number one. Debunk that. Throw that out of your head. If anybody tells you that while you are focused and you're trying to enter a season where like, I just want to lock in and really just do what I can do to set myself ahead for the next couple years. If anybody tells you like, oh, you just need to relax, it's not that serious. Okay, you got time. You got time. You got time for this. You got time for that. Don't listen to that. Because on one end, you do have time. I'm not saying that you don't have time and that you should just think like, oh my gosh, I have no time in my life. Duh. No, you shouldn't think like that. But what I am telling you is, it's selfish to be out here thinking that God just gave you unlimited time to just lollygag, to just do nothing, to just be out here just asking him for a whole bunch of stuff. And you ain't doing nothing. You're not putting in no work. That's kind of crazy. Too much of you only live once. And you have plenty of time to be serious and settle down and, really, really care about your health. Like, no, too much of hearing all of that will have you engaging and indulging in the wrong things, right? All that drinking all the time, 24/7, which is a whole nother conversation. But a lot of people think of that. They're like, oh, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. First of all, if you say stuff like that around me, you can't be around me because no, people go through their lives. You do all of these things and feel like, oh, I'm getting it out my system in my 20s. And then what? You look up and you have health problems. You have health problems, problem with your liver, problem with your kidneys because you just couldn't stop drinking. You couldn't stop drinking so much because you feel like, well, I'm just having fun. You only live once. But you're telling that to yourself every time you go out. You see how it doesn't make sense? Exactly. So remember, like, you can have fun and you can be flexible, but you have to stay strict with yourself. You have to have strict boundaries with yourself. You have to know, like, all right, this is where I'm trying to go. I have to work more than I play, period. I have to work more than I play. I have to work more than I play. I don't care how many times you have to tell yourself that and remind yourself that, but just know you have to work more than you can play. Life is not just something that you can just take the attitude of just floating by. I'm just skating by. I'm just existing. I'm just here. No, y'all. Okay, so going into number 2, which is a really, really big one. Like, this is a very big myth, a very big misconception that will ruin your life if you actually take this advice. Like, it honestly don't even make sense, but date them all. I know y'all have heard that. Oh, date them all. Go here, go travel with this one, go to dinner with this one, have a new date for every night of the week, date them all. You will hear this from your aunties, your older cousins, your uncles, maybe your older friends. Date everybody, girl, especially women. Like, when I tell you, if you're a woman, you have probably heard this more often than not, especially if you're in your 20s. It's like, yeah, date them all, date them all, date them all. Now, back in the day, that might have been some good advice. In today's times, I find that to be bad advice. because things are just so different today in terms of the dating climate and the different influences and just different things that affect the dating scene. I'm not a fan of all that dating them all stuff. Keep a rotation, baby. Look, I'm a busy woman. I don't have time to keep a whole bunch of men in rotation. I don't. I literally don't have time. And if you're a man, I'm pretty sure you've heard from, people that are older than you, men that are older than you. But you have to think, like, are these men married? Do I want to be married? Okay. So why am I taking advice from men that aren't married? Yeah, you my uncle. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Yeah, you my older cousin. Yeah, but what does your life look like? What does your dating life look like? Like, are you happy in your life? Do you have a good solid woman in your life? If not, maybe you spent too much time in the streets being a little scavenger. Okay. So yes, dating is very important. I do believe that as a woman, as a man, you need to date around and see what you like and what you don't like. However, the more you become in tune with yourself and the more discernment that you have, the more connected to God you are, the more you know yourself inside and out. It ain't gonna take that much dating for you to figure out what you like and don't like. So you're not gonna need to have a different person for every day of the week. You're not going to need to go out the country with every single last person you meet. You're not going to need to do that. And then a lot of people mix dating up with having sex with multiple people. Wrong. Like, yes, dating helps you understand what you like and what you don't like and how to show up in relationships. But it's not necessary in today's times to just be focusing all your attention on dating so many people. Like, that's very bad advice, okay? That's one myth that I really want to debunk for y'all and let you know, like, the longer you do this, first of all, your hands are going to be tied. You're not going to have enough time on your hands to cater to all these different folks and build your dream life. Like, think about that. You're not going to have enough time to do all that. When are you going to have time to do that? You're not. Exactly. Dating everyone without boundaries is going to waste emotional energy, time, and focus. Like, chasing situationships or filling your calendar with a whole bunch of dates just for validation, just for a free meal, all of that stuff. Like, when women be like, oh, well, I'm just gonna go out with him and get a little something to eat. Girl, if you don't like that man for real, stay at home. Like, I'm telling you, stay at home. Like, it just doesn't have to be another notch on your belt just because you want to go out and get some food. If you want to go out and get some food, go out and get some food with your homegirl. If you really don't like this man, don't waste your time. Like, it just doesn't make sense. When you say this stuff out loud and really think about it, it don't make sense. Yeah, go out and go on dates with people that you enjoy, but a lot of women say stuff like this. Oh, I just use him for food. And when I want to go have fun, then I'll call him up. And, I know he going to send me money for this, that, and the third. And, when I want to get some, then I'm going to call him up. Like, that's going to waste a lot of your time, a lot of your energy. Like, I ain't going to lie. Having a different person to talk to every day of the week, that seems fun. It sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds very exciting. When you're 19, when you're 18 and 19 and don't really have no real responsibilities and decisions that you need to make every single day, emotion that you need to have in place and have going every single day. Yeah, it sounds a lot of fun talking to different people, texting a whole bunch of different people, getting a whole bunch of different good morning messages. Yeah, they do sound fun. But at 25, no, I don't have time for that. Like, first of all, that's going to cut into my morning routine. Having to text all y'all back, I don't have time. So just know that this myth is BS. Because, date them all, have fun with everybody, date everybody, go on dates with everybody. A lot of times up front, if you don't even want to deal with a person or not. If you don't want to talk to this man. If this woman is not worth your time. I was just having a conversation with someone the other day, and I was just telling him, like, men really do be knowing when a woman is a walking red flag. But you choose to ignore it anyway because you want to have fun. You think this is Six Flags, right? So you're associating, like, I know, like, this is wrong. She does not check none of these boxes, but she look good though. She a vibe though in some areas, so I'm gonna keep her around. Yeah, that's fun to do when you're 18, 19, 20. When you start getting into your mid-20s, your later 20s, your early 30s, you realize that's actually pretty stupid, and I shouldn't take that advice. Especially if I'm getting it from people who aren't married or people who don't live a happy life and they're lonely and they don't have anybody. You see how that don't make sense? Yeah. So my advice to y'all is date mindfully. Know your non-negotiables. I'm not saying that you only need to date one person a year. That's not what I'm saying. Actively dating and being in a committed relationship are two different things. A committed exclusive relationship. But if you're actively dating and you're like, okay, cool. Remember, you can date without sleeping with everybody that you're dating. If you go out with this dude, maybe this week, and let's just say in a couple weeks, you won't go on another date. That doesn't mean that you have to sleep with both of them, and vice versa. Men, you do not have to get active with every woman that you take on a date. It doesn't have to be that way. Date mindfully. Have your non-negotiables. Do not date them all. Everybody that come across your face is not dateable. You should not be dating everybody. Just because people like you, that doesn't mean that you have to like them back. Just because a man likes you and wants to take you on a date, guess what, ladies? If you don't want to go and you don't like him, don't go. Don't date them all just for the hell of it, okay? Like, that's only going to waste a lot of your time. And don't let dating be a distraction. What people don't tell you is when they tell you, oh, date them all. Oh, somebody wants to take you out this day, go. Somebody wants to take you out that day, go. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, book, go. Go ahead, girl. What they're not telling you is it's a distraction. Because guess what? The time you're in nursing school, right? The time that you could be using to study, you can't because you're on dates every week, okay? Or you in truck driving school, or you trying to become an engineer or a carpenter, or I don't care, whatever it is, right? Men and women. When you know you got stuff to do, dating takes up a lot of time, especially dating multiple people. Like, you're spending all of this money, all of this time dating just because you want to be in somebody's face consistently. Like, don't let dating be a distraction from your purpose, and use your 20s to build yourself so you're ready for a healthy partnership. A lot of y'all are out here just moving around dating with no goal in mind. And I'm not saying that everybody you date, you should approach them and approach the situation like, oh, this is going to be my husband. No, but dating is really a learning experience for yourself. So you should be paying attention to things that you need to work on and work through and learn how to be better at as a woman, as a man. So when it comes time to actually be in a relationship, you can show up as your best self, as your healthiest self. You don't have to show up as somebody that's like, damn, like, so you've been out here dating and okay, I see why you're not in a long-term relationship, because you still have these problems. You still been dating. Like I said, just like you having fun at Six Flags. You need to build yourself up and practice how you want to show up as a partner. If you're a person that don't want to get married, then this doesn't even apply to you. You can date however many people you want to date. I don't know nothing about that. I plan to be a wife, so everything that I do in terms of dating is very intentional. Like, I'm learning, I'm analyzing myself. Oh, how can I be better at this? How can I be better at communicating with my man? How can I be better at, delivering how I feel about certain things? Like, how can my delivery be better? All of that stuff is stuff I think about and pay attention to when I am interacting with men. Because the ultimate goal is to get a ring on his finger. Okay, so boom. Ask yourself, am I dating to grow and learn, or just to avoid being alone and bored? It's very simple. Are you dating to learn and grow and eventually meet and connect with your person? Or am I just bored? Like, I don't like to be alone. I love going out. I love being with different people. And, I just don't like being by myself. You got to always be consistently talking to somebody. You got to always be dealing with somebody. There are no periods throughout the year where it's just you solo, not dating nobody, not texting nobody good morning every single day, right? You've never had a period in your life like that. That's a problem. That is a problem, and I'm here to tell you that, okay? Like I said, I'm your voice of reason, so older people sometimes will tell you those things like, oh, date them all, okay? But sometimes you get very different advice from people that have been married for a very long time. They'll tell you like, hey, tighten up, especially the men. Like, if you've met a great woman and this is a life that you want to live, like, you need to make a decision. You need to get serious and lock this down and stop all that playing. Now, in your early 20s, okay, yeah, you're gonna have some moments. But as you get into 25 and up, I'm gonna sit here and let you know firsthand, that's when get serious for real, okay? Like, that's when it starts to get very serious, because you start to really analyze like the things you want out of your life, and dating and relationships is a big part of it. So you just don't want to spend all of your time just wasting time with random people who are not adding value to your life, people who cannot help you in any type of way, shape, or form. Get rid of them, okay? Hit the road, Jack. And moral of the story, like I said, for myth number 2, dating them all is not the best advice. It's not the best advice at all. It's just going to cost you a lot of time, a lot of feelings, a lot of energy that you just don't have, because you're going to find yourself feeling depleted, and it's just going to affect a lot of other areas in your life. So lock in. I'm not telling you that you got to settle down tomorrow, but what I'm saying is when you hit a certain point in your 20s, and it'll hit you, don't run from it. It'll hit you. You are going to need to be intentional and very mindful about the decisions that you're making when it comes to dating. Okay, so moving into number 3. Hey y'all, thank you so much for tuning into the conversation. This episode is sponsored by my brand, Mindful Vibes 365. If you or anyone else you know are currently experiencing feelings of frustration, anxiety, depression, overstimulation, mental burnout, and overall disconnection from God, I'm going to go ahead and let you know and touch you on your shoulder when I say this, but it's time for you to go ahead and reprogram your mind and your vibe. Now, as somebody that did this through fasting from secular music for an entire year, I can honestly say this is the fastest way to change your life. If you're struggling with some of the things that I mentioned, cutting out secular music is one of the quickest and best things that you can do to get your mind and vibe back on track. Now, I know the idea of going a whole entire year without listening to any rap, R&B, old school, country music, drill rap, or any of the music that you like to listen to seems like a pretty far-fetched idea. But luckily for you guys, this is exactly why I created a 90-day guided workbook that's going to help you fast track and improve your mental, emotional, and spiritual health. The Mindful Vibes 90-day workbook is going to be filled with resources such as podcasts, sermons, audiobooks, personal development teachings, Bible readings, and so much more to help you get through your 90-day fast and detox. You're also going to have access to hand-picked thought-provoking quotes and tips that you can use to apply to your life every single day. And you're going to have space to journal what's on your mind and what's your vibe for that day after completing the necessary tasks that you're going to need to complete every day for the next 90 days. I can honestly go ahead and congratulate you in advance on the new person you're getting ready to become after you complete this 90-day workbook. It's my goal to help at least 1,000 people in 2026 overcome and beat anxiety, depression, overstimulation, mental burnout, and overall just disconnection from God. So make sure you go ahead and tap the link in the description to go ahead and get a copy of your Mindful Vibes 90-day guided workbook. I'm so excited for you. I cannot wait to hear more about your testimony. Congratulations again in advance. Let's get back to the conversation. All right, now moving into number 3. This myth and this misconception right here, I swear I hate hearing this, because the more I do my research and the more I study money and the more I study wealth and the more I study people who have the things that I want, I realize anybody saying this thing to me or anybody that has told me this before, they just don't know no better. Myth number 3, making money and creating wealth is hard. I know for a fact this has come from somebody older than you, because it comes from the older generation that had fewer opportunities, that had less resources than what we do now. The internet, you can make money off Instagram, TikTok Shop, YouTube, making videos, streaming, Twitch, all that stuff, right? They were taught that making money takes decades of grinding. In order to buy a house, it took them 10 years, a decade of saving. In order to do this, in order to take a family trip, it took a couple years of saving to even be able to do that, right? We're not living in them times no more. Anybody that's telling you right now, like, you know, money is hard to come by, money don't grow on trees, and making money is hard, and it takes a lot to become a millionaire, you need to debunk all them. All that. I promise you. I listen to Myron Golden, and one of the main things he talks about is the fact that we have heard these things all of our lives. And if you really truly want to get on the other side of success and wealth and change your tax brackets, you are going to need to forget every single negative thing that you've heard about money. You know, it might come off as a joke, like, oh, money don't grow on trees. Oh, that's too expensive. Nothing should be too expensive. You should never let the word expensive come out of your mouth when it's something that you want. You should be asking yourself, what can I do to be able to afford this? Okay, because today with the internet, with e-commerce, content creation, trading, digital products, right? You can make money and build income streams faster than you ever have before. So if you find yourself talking to the older generation or talking to people that are older than you and you're in your 20s and your early 30s and you're having conversations where people are saying like, oh yeah, like, you know, you need to stay at your job because it's hard to get another one, and it's going to be hard to up your salary, and you know, you got to be careful because becoming an entrepreneur and making this amount of money as an entrepreneur and a business owner is hard. Let me stop you right there. I don't want to hear all that. It's a myth. It's a misconception. It's a lie. That is not the world we live in. If you think like that, that's how it's going to be. If you don't think like that, that's not how it's going to be. Okay. You create your own reality. So if you want making money to be easy, then make it easy, okay? If you want creating wealth to be easy for you, then make it easy. And it's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be a long road, but it doesn't have to be looked at as something that's like so impossible. It doesn't have to be looked at as something that's like, oh my gosh, it's going to take me forever. It's going to take me forever to make $100,000 per year. It's going to take me forever to make my first $1 million. You know how fast people making $1 million these days? And it's like that first 100,000, that's the hardest. That first million, that's the hardest. As long as you putting skin in the game and learning all you need to learn, once you hit that first one, your second one comes shortly thereafter. And then your third, then your fourth, and your fifth, and so forth and so forth. Another thing that Myron Golden always says is it's easier to make a lot of money in a short time than in a long period of time. Okay, because it's like it just challenges that money is scarce mentality. Okay, so some tips that I want y'all to follow when it comes to this myth is shift your mindset. Replace money is hard to make with opportunities are everywhere. An opportunity can fall out the sky for you tomorrow and change your life and allow you to be making more money than you ever had before. You can meet a new person that's going to put you on, that's going to connect you with the right people. And a couple months from now, you will be in a position that you've never been in before, making more money than you ever had before. It only takes one person, one conversation, one connection, one opportunity, one video. I could post a podcast episode on my YouTube, and while all the rest of them getting a couple hundred views, you know, and not many views, one video can go up that gets more than 100,000 views or a couple 100,000 views. And now guess what? Now maybe I have brand partnerships and brand deals and brand sponsorships. And if you have a business and you want to sponsor your girl or, you know, collab with me, I'm open to all that. But it only takes one viral video or one moment for you to go from point A to point B. So shift your mindset. Tip number 2, study people who are successfully building wealth right now. Take online courses. Join webinars, watch tutorials, read business books, read books about money. You guys, The Richest Man in Babylon, you should read that book. It's very simple. It's very short. It's a very easy read, but very, very great book when it comes to talking about money. Okay, like you have to read The Richest Man in Babylon. That's one of my favorite books. Learn how to listen to podcasts that talk about finances. Yes, people like to say, oh, this stuff is boring and I just get bored and I just can't seem to focus and get through them all. Okay, well, you don't want no money then. You don't want no real money. You want this little play money that these jobs pay you and this, that, and the third. But if you want some real paper for real, you are going to start studying these things. You're going to become obsessed with getting better, with saving, investing, and moving your money around, okay? And learning how to get funding so that you can start your own company. And just learning. Money is not meant to be held on to. That's not the purpose of money. The purpose of money is to literally put it in different avenues and make it work for you. Like $1 should not stop at just being $1 for you. Okay, that dollar needs to be put to use. All the money that comes through your hands needs to circulate. Some people have the mentality of the only purpose for money is to pay bills. Like, no. That's crazy talk. But if that's what you grew up on, and every time some mail come and it's time to pay bills again, that's all I do is freaking pay bills, right? You have learned and heard that your whole entire life. And then as you get into college and schooling and stuff, that's what you hear anyway. Oh, you're going to go to college so you can make this amount of money, so you can live a stable life and be able to afford this house and afford this car and da-da-da-da. That's coming off as if That's the only levels that you're going to be able to reach, right? You need to train your brain to think, hey, it's way more than what I know. It's way more to this money stuff than what I know. Money don't have to be hard to make. Money doesn't have to be hard to come by. Money is coming to me and flowing to me through a continuous basis, through multiple resources all the time. So that's how you need to be thinking when it comes to money, okay? And just a little bit of encouragement for you. You do not have to wait for the perfect job or a super big raise to start getting a jump on your finances. Like, you don't have to wait at all. You can start where you are and use what's in your hands to build something, to start something, right? Even with this podcast, it's like, oh, okay, girl, you don't need to go out and rent a studio and pay hundreds of dollars every single time you want to record or get a membership somewhere. Make your space cute, okay? Make you a nice little content corner. You have a expensive Sony camera. You have all the lighting. You have all the microphones and stuff that you need. Lock in and just get it done. And using the resources that I have in 2026, we're going to claim it that I'm going to be in a bigger space. I'm going to be in my studio. I'm going to be in a super nice podcasting space that I'm going to be able to design and lay out exactly how I want it to. But I can't let me not having that now stop me from getting there. I can't let that stop me from starting. You know, like, people might want to collab with me now, but if I don't do anything with the resources that I have now, how am I going to ever get to $100,000 sponsorships and partnerships and brand deals, right? You got to put in some work and some effort with what you have. And as long as you're operating like that, money will always come by you, period. Money will always come by you. So to wrap up myth number 3, like I said, making money and creating wealth is hard and getting rich is hard. That's a misconception. Don't want you to believe that. It's a lie. It's all a lie. All right. So moving on to the final one, which is myth number 4. This is one that I laugh about every time I hear it, because I don't necessarily hear this from older people. Like, older people haven't told me this, but I hear this a lot from people like on the internet. And I'm from Atlanta. I love my city so bad. Such an ATL girl. But, you know, people move to the city and try to hate on the city for real. Like, don't do that. But number 4, moving to a new city will fix everything. A common mistake, a common myth, a common misconception, a common lie that you will hear. Moving to a new city will fix everything in your life. This is a very romanticized myth, because people believe that a new zip code, a new city, a new skyline, it's going to magically make life amazing. Like, yes, moving to a new city can give you fresh energy, okay? It can bring about different opportunities, but it's not going to fix your core issues like your poor mindset, your lack of initiative, your lack to be able to go out and network and talk to people and put yourself out there. You really think just moving from Atlanta to Houston is going to change that about yourself? No. You really think moving from Houston to Atlanta is going to change that about yourself? You really think moving from Atlanta to Miami is going to change that about yourself? Like, nah, that's a you thing. That's a you problem. Okay? Your unresolved personal struggles, that's something that you got to get together before you think that, oh, if I just up and move to a new city, and I don't care if I have to move to a new city and just be sleeping on the floor, that's not going to change nothing for you. Okay? So if you struggle making friends where you are, you might have some of the same struggles in a new city unless you work on your confidence skills and your networking skills first. Now, I'm not here to convince you and try to persuade you that you need to stay in the city that you're in for your entire life. If you feel like making a move to a new city, a new state is going to change your life, cool. But are you thinking like that because you have a game plan? Are you thinking like that because, I'm a hairstylist in Atlanta and I'm going to go move to Nashville because I see that they don't necessarily have, you know, a lot of hairstylists that specialize in whatever type of hair you do or whatever, you know, but I've built up an audience. I know how to market myself. I'm not afraid to put myself out there. Like, I just want to go try something new and be at the top of a new city. You can do that. But if you don't market yourself in Atlanta and you don't let girls know that you do hair in Atlanta and you don't pass out cards, you don't connect with people in the mall, I don't think that that's the smartest thing for you to do. So that belief, like, oh, I just need to get up and go. I just need to move to a new city. Everything moving will fix my problems. I just need to get out of Atlanta. Okay. you're running from something. Don't think that just running to a new city is going to be the key to your problems, because you probably running away and moving away from the people who love you the most, your family, your friends, closest, just because there are some issues that you don't want to face and fix yourself, right? So my advice is do the inner work first. Like, clarify your values, clarify what it is that you want. Build your habits up and create opportunities for yourself in the space that you're in right now. Okay, if you're in Atlanta, focus on creating opportunities for yourself right now. So should opportunities come along down the line when it's time for you to move, you good. It's not gonna be something that you're gonna have to learn how to do and adjust to in a whole nother state. And number two, my second piece of advice is, if you do move, go with a plan. Okay, research the job market. Please, I already have a job. Okay, I already have a job or some motion going on before you decide to do that. Know what the cost of living is, communities that fit your lifestyle. Don't just go moving anywhere just because it's cute. No, if you want to move, but don't have this in your mind that, oh, moving to a new city is going to just fix everything and fix all my problems. Like, if that's your reason for moving, I'm sorry to tell you, but it's probably not the best idea for you to do that, because you're already approaching it wrong anyway. Okay, so those are the top common, I feel, misconceptions and myths that I've heard just being in my 20s, from what like people have told me and from what I've heard other people speaking about. Number one, you got plenty of time. You only live once. YOLO. Do whatever you want to do. Don't do that. You're going to waste a lot of your time making bad decisions and justifying it with stuff like that. Oh, I got time. You got time to live. You got time to do this. Just do it all. Okay, just skate by. Yeah, you're going to wake up and find yourself being 40 in a place where you have nothing. Is that really the life that you want for yourself? All because you're like, oh yeah, party, party, party. Let's all get wasted. Like, no. Okay. Number two, date them all. I know you've heard this one. Go ahead, baby, date them all. Go on a date with this one, go on a date with that one. Have a different day for every day of the week. All right, you're going to be spending and wasting so much of your time and emotions and feelings. You're going to be so drained. You're not even going to have time to work on your own stuff. You see how that doesn't make sense? Right. Number three, you need to debunk the whole making money and creating wealth is hard. Money is hard to come by. Oh my gosh, things are so expensive. Oh my gosh, it's just so hard to make money. No, it's not. The longer you keep telling yourself that, the longer it's going to take. The longer it's going to seem like making money is oh so hard, right? And number four, like I said, moving to a new city will fix everything. It won't. 9 times out of 10, it won't fix all your problems, and the problems that you're trying to run from. I promise you, just up and moving to a new city is not going to solve them, especially if it has anything to do with making friends and genuine connections and opportunities. Right now, if you live in a small little town that, you know, okay, nobody really lives there and you're like an outcast or, you know, something like that's different. But it be killing me when these folks live in major cities. You live in Atlanta, you live in Miami, you live in Houston, Dallas. You know, you can't get no motion going on. You need to look within yourself. It's you. And that's okay, because sometimes we don't want to own up to that. But I'm just here to let you know, like, do the work. Don't just run from your problems. Don't just run from your feelings. And don't just think like, oh, I'm just going to go here. No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that, guys. So in closing, your 20s are such a gift, y'all. When I tell you, as a 25-year-old, couple months away from being 26, I am just learning to really enjoy my 20s. Like, I'm learning so much at such a lightning speed because I'm putting forth the effort to learn more and more every day. Like, your 20s are full of so much potential. Of course, a lot of mistakes, a lot of lessons, and a lot of growth, but do not waste them believing myths that don't serve you, okay? Float intentionally, live intentionally, date wisely, embrace new money opportunities and new money mindsets. And remember, like, no zip code can fix what you won't face. Okay, so if this episode resonated with you, if you stayed to the very end, thank you so much. I love you guys. We are growing every single day. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, rate us on Apple Podcasts as well. We are just growing, y'all. I'm so excited about where this podcast is going. A lot of new things are coming soon. We have merch coming soon. So many exciting surprises. Like, honestly, I just can't wait. And I'm honestly just really excited about continuing to build my tribe and just connecting with people who want to live a more mindful life. And these productive and stimulating conversations are so important. They're so necessary and they're so needed. So again, if you stay to the end and you watch this, thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Bye.